In the early days, we started coming to Damascus, I'd say probably about 2011 or so. My wife and I would come up here and sit in the balcony here at Damascus Community Church. I pulled out my trusty little camcorder that I had bought at Costco for about $300, sat up here in the balcony and just started filming. I just felt like it was something that was important for people who weren't able to come physically to the services, maybe for illness purposes or because they were aged, also just for historical reasons. Then there was a family in the church who was involved in a bad accident. They had to spend a lot of time up at one of the hospitals here in Portland. And so they were unable to attend church. Every Sunday they were up at this hospital. I thought, well, wow, I'm sending this out on YouTube, but I could give them the unlisted link to this video and then they could watch it up there. And that seemed like a pretty good thing to do because they were unable to come to church. So we started doing that and they started watching and they enjoyed it. And lo and behold, I'm not quite sure how this happened, but there were a number of other people who started to discover this private link and started watching, and pretty soon our viewership started going up. The difficulty was, where do I do this from? Where do I set up? And right behind me here is this little booth that they had set up years ago to do cassette recordings. So they recorded on little cassettes, put a computer together. It's still running today. I think that was about 2015 when we finally did that. And it was a little bit difficult doing it on my own, and Bill popped in and said, hey, I'm willing to help, what can I do? And I said, well, you got any experience video editing or this and that? And he said, well, no, but I'm sure willing to help.
Barbara was doing some teaching. I know that I'm supposed to have a job, and my job looks like maybe Eric could use some help. I had never done any streaming before, so it was a learning experience and I knew zero. It's like learning how to cook. You watch someone else and it seems very easy, but until you do it yourself, you don't quite know what you're up against. And that's what it was in the video ministry, is that Eric made it look easy.
People will come up to me, you don't realize what a blessing this is to us, because my mother is ill and at home and she can't come, and she watches it every Sunday. And ultimately, one day I hope to stand in his presence and have him say, well done, good and faithful servant. You did a great job with that video ministry. And over here's a group of people who are appreciative of the fact that you had that video ministry and it made a difference in their life. That's sort of what I'm looking forward to.
Even Jesus, when he sent out the disciples, he sent them by twos. The Lord expects us to at least work in twos or more.